Welcome to Spiritual Minefield. Today we're going to look at severe cosmic disturbances in the Great Tribulation. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're going to first here look at the sixth seal. And this gives a glimpse how bad it's going to be in the Great Tribulation. And the reason for this video are for those that do not have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And I want to show you just a glimpse how bad it's going to be in the Great Tribulation. And we're just looking at here 3 places that is going to show asteroids hitting the planet. And I'm going to show you the devastation. So we're going to start here in the 6th seal, which says humanity will realize God's wrath, judgment, is being poured out into the earth. So this is when humanity understand that they're in trouble, that everything that's starting to happen is God doing it. So God is bringing judgment upon the earth because they have rejected him. Okay, so let's look at that. Let's go to Revelation chapter 6, and we're going to read verses 12 through 17. So let's look at that. And when I saw the Lamb open the 6th seal, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black like sackcloth of goat hair, and the whole moon turned blood red. And the stars of the sky fell to the earth like unripe figs dropping from a tree shaken by a great wind. The sky receded like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was moved from its place. Then the kings of the earth, the nobles, the commanders, the rich, the mighty, and every slave and free man hid in the caves and among the rocks of the mountains. And they said to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of the one seated on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who is able to withstand it? So we see here that it already started. Seal number 1 to seal number 5. When they get to seal number 6, they understand that everything that's been occurring is God's wrath. So then, meanwhile, if we go to seal number 4, it says here, then I looked and saw a pale green horse, and his rider's name was Death, and Hades followed close behind. And they were given authority over a fourth of the earth to kill by sword, by famine, by plague, and by the beasts of the earth. So we see here 2 billion people in just the seals alone are going to die. That's how bad it's going to be. Now let's go back here. So then what's happening here? So basically a big earthquake occurs. Then when it says here stars, and the stars of the sky fell to the earth like unripe figs, those are asteroids hitting, like smaller asteroids hitting all over the planet. And then what happens? It says here that the sun became black like sackcloth of goat hair, and the whole moon turned blood red. So that means the bombardments of these smaller asteroids, when they hit the earth, it kicked up so much dust up in the atmosphere that it made the sun dark. Basically, it blacked out the sun, and the moon, for whatever reason, it made it look red. So that's how devastating it was going to be. And then the people here are very scared. They're saying, look, hide us. They understand. This is when they realize that it is God who's causing this. God is the one who's bringing judgment. So then what do? Instead of repenting, what do? They try to hide from the living God, not knowing that no one can hide because all this judgment is coming on the earth. They cannot leave the planet. So what are they going to do? Hide in the caves? It's not going to work. They're going to be judged unless they repent. Now let's look at here the other one. The 2nd, 3rd, and 4th trumpets. So now we're going to hit the trumpets, okay? And we're going to look at the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And it says asteroids are hitting the earth in different locations. So we're going to go to Revelation chapter 8. So we're going to start here with the 2nd trumpet. And it says, then the 2nd angel sounded his trumpet, and something like a great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea. A third of the sea turned to blood. A third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. Now look how devastating this is. So a big mountain, the size of a mountain with fires coming from the sky. It goes into the water and automatically kills 1/3 of the fishes. So that means that your food source in the ocean is going to be 1/3 of it will be wiped out. Not only that, look what it does. A third of the ships were destroyed. Well, what type of ships are out there? Not only regular ships, but ships of commerce. Big ships that carry containers of what? Food, cars, clothes, and material. So a lot of our basic needs, a lot of things that we need that comes from ships from other countries will be destroyed. So more food source will be destroyed. Now let's look at here the 3rd trumpet. Then the third angel sounded his trumpet, and a great star, burning like a torch, fell from heaven and landed on the third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is wormwood. A third of the waters turned bitter like wormwood oil, and many people died from the bitter waters. So then here a big asteroid hits the fresh water that feeds about 1/3 of the population of the earth, and it becomes poison. And then what happens is people drink it without knowing that it hit. Now, how can that be? That means that the water probably didn't turn dark. It still stayed clear. So then when they're drinking the water, they didn't know that it was poison. And then many people are going to die just from the water. So now you can't drink water. If that water source is coming to you, you will be unable to drink it because it will kill you. So now let's continue here. Then the fourth angel sounded his trumpet, and a third of the sun and moon and stars were struck. A third of the stars were darkened, and a third of the day was without light, and a third of the night as well. So basically, when it hit, it's kicking up a lot of dust into the air. So then it's going to extend not only during the day, but during the night. So at nighttime, it's going to get really dark. Why? Because it covers the stars and the moon. So basically, we're not going to get any light from space, from the sun, moon, and stars. So it's going to be very dark during the day and during the night. Okay, so now let's look at the last one. And it says the second bowl, everything in the sea dies. Now, what's interesting is that if you go up here, it says the second angel, it says, then the second angel sounded his trumpet, and something like a great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea, and a third of the sea turned to blood. Now, what's interesting here is that when the asteroid hit the ocean, it made it turn to blood, or something is tainted in the ocean. So basically, it's poisoning the ocean, right? And then all the fish, 1/3 of it died, but it doesn't stay there, meaning it continues to permeate all over the ocean. So then when we get here to the bowl, look what happens. And the second angel poured out his bowl into the sea, and it turned to blood like that of the dead. And every living thing in the sea died. So now it permeates all over the ocean. So first it kills 1/3. Then it continues to permeate. Whatever this red dye is that is poisonous continues to permeate all over the ocean. Eventually it covers the whole ocean, and it kills every living creature in the ocean. You know how devastating that is? That means that no longer can you fish. No longer will there be food in the ocean available. Seafood will be gone. It will be devastating. No shrimp, no lobster, no any type of fish, nothing. It will be all gone. So now people are going to hit a stage of famine, because before you go out into the water, you fish, you could eat, you could buy fish, but now you can't do any of that. It's going to be a devastation. So I just named here a few things that's going to occur in the Great Tribulation that's going to devastate. Now, mind you, right now there's 8.2 billion people alive. We don't know how many people will be raptured. So let's say 8 billion people are left. From those 8 billion people, 1/4 in the seals are going to die. That means that 2 billion people are going to perish just in the seal alone. That's in the beginning of the second half of the Great Tribulation. The Great Tribulation is broken in two halves. You got the first 3.5 years, and then the second 3.5 years. Jesus said in Matthew 24 that he had to shorten it for the sake of the elect. Because if Jesus bombards the earth with his plagues for the whole 7 years, everybody will be wiped out. That's how bad it's going to be. So Jesus cut it short because of the elect. So then the first 3.5 years, you got the Antichrist pretending to bring peace. He brings his false peace, his false security, and then people think he's a great Messiah and this and that. And then he betrays the Jews right in the middle. He stops the sacrifice of the temple, and then he claims to be God and so forth. So then the moment the Antichrist goes into the third temple, claims to be God, to worship him, and his idol is erected in the corner of the third temple, that's the beginning of the first seal. That's all hell will break loose. So the Antichrist is the first seal of God's wrath. And then when you go down, that's when you have a lot of small asteroids hitting the planets everywhere. And then people recognize that God's judgment has begun. So then how to avoid it? Put your faith and trust in Jesus Christ today. Do not wait. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. Especially you're not guaranteed that you're going to make it through the Great Tribulation. Not only that, you're not guaranteed that you're not going to receive the mark of the beast, because it's going to be so terrible in the Great Tribulation that if you do not get the mark of the beast, then you can't eat. You cannot survive. Not only that, they're going to kill you. Now, can you withstand something like that? See, you don't know. The best thing to do is to give your life to Christ today. Don't wait. Do it while you still have today. Thank you for listening.